Hello guys, welcome back to the video on the Stratus Forecast Weather Channel. In today's video, we're going to be going over a very small video. We're going to be doing a very small video today, but in today's video, we're going to be going over a potential severe weather threat for tomorrow. It's a very low threat. Let me show you the SPC outlook first. So here's the SPC outlook, also known as the Storm Prediction Center. They have come out with an outlook, so it looks like a marginal chance in for south central Kentucky and north central Tennessee. There is a tornado threat with a very, very small chance of it happening, with a 2% risk in basically an area right around south central areas of Kentucky and north central areas of Tennessee. There's also a wind threat with this as well, and again, it's a very small threat. So there's a 5% risk, and again, there's a 2% risk. So that 5% risk and tornado risk basically covers the same exact area, so you're basically talking like about southwestern, south central Kentucky, northwestern, north central Tennessee for both those. No hail risk though. So with this being said, let's go over the radar. So again, nothing really gets interesting until we get into the overnight hours, until we get into Wednesday anyways. This is in the later evening hours into overnight. I'm not really seeing a huge severe weather risk because none of these thunderstorms really, like overly powerful. Probably due to the relatively, I wouldn't say colder temperatures, but they're definitely not, prime environment for a very good thunderstorm. And the energy is definitely not there either. I mean, it's borderline there because there's mixing, like not even as far north as like the Ohio Valley and I guess severe weather potentially down here. Things I think get interesting into the early morning hours on Thursday when we get this line, when we get individual thunderstorms that fire off in the afternoon. But also there's a little bit of a severe weather threat right here as well. I think Thursday early morning hours, there's a little bit of a severe weather threat with these scattered thunderstorms. It's a very low threat, I think, but I mean, there's always that potential. But any scattered thunderstorms would probably have the best opportunity to produce any like tornado activity. So to produce any tornado, and the tornado threat is there. So then things become a little bit more uncertain as the afternoon goes on. But I feel pretty confident that if we have numerous scattered thunderstorms like this, there's a better potential for seeing a tornado out of any of these. But once it becomes more of a line of thunderstorms as is shown here, especially, again, any of these thunderstorms over here that develop ahead of the line of thunderstorms would have the best potential to produce, like, damaging wind gusts. I wouldn't say hail, but obviously hail is always a risk, whether it's like a quarter-sized hail, a penny-sized hail or anything like that. I think it's always a risk, really. And then the line of thunderstorms will probably be mostly damaging winds, but notice how they're not widely scattered, but they are numerous and scattered in ways, but sort of a line of thunderstorms would be mostly a wind risk, but I would still put a tiny tornado and wind risk in there as well, but it'd be mostly wind, and that basically covers that entire thing. And then things might get interesting. It's showing a very strong thunderstorms in portions of northern Carolina, especially on the western half of the North Carolina area, and then maybe some more thunderstorms developing over here. So again, here's the most unstable cave, so things really do not get interesting until like the very early morning hours on Thursday, before we get this like sharp turn, and like this gray and this whole entire area that you're seeing on this map right now is like basically a general idea of what the cape environment is. So again, honestly, I don't know why they wouldn't extend I think I know why, because I don't know if there's thunderstorms all the way down here, but it's always possible. But if there's thunderstorms down here, this looks like a very prime environment, and with the cape so unstable like that, you're looking at a very good chance of seeing, anything, rotation or anything with any of these storms. But the most center of, concern seems to be like right, like in the area that I'm circling right in here. Seems the most area that I'm circling. And again, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what I saw. And then it does become more interesting. So I think they could also add another severe weather risk for Thursday into Friday, which also this could even get upgraded to potentially a slight risk, because you're seeing a lot more of those teal colors and blues. But there's that. Here's the surface-based cape. Again, it's going to be a little bit more numerous, and more. Things get really interesting down in the south, but I don't know if that's actually where the thunderstorms are lining up. I'd have to look at the radar again. But again, right where you're seeing here, you get that prime environment rain here. So I think this is a good chance of seeing a spin up here, rain central Tennessee. And that moves on, and then it does end up getting interesting Thursday night to Friday. As you can see, these teal colors showing up on the surface-based cape map. Maybe in northeastern Arkansas, the thunderstorms are in there. That's a prime environment for any severe weather, so that's always a potential. But honestly, the most significant area of any supercell thunderstorms would probably be central Tennessee, depending on where it all lines up. But like I said, central Tennessee would probably be the prime environment for it. And then obviously Friday's another case where we might have to look out for some more severe thunderstorms. The next thing, any really significant severe weather threat would be the shear environment. Again, the shear is like that rotation in the atmosphere, right? So the wind shear looks decent. Now it could be better, but I think it's not exactly lining up where the thunderstorms would be. Well, it kind of is, but it's also not lining up where the HRR model is lining up with the Cape environment, the Cape model, as well as the things like the shear. It's not really lining up. The Cape is more like central Tennessee, and this is more like northern Tennessee, and throughout the state of Kentucky. But again, I think the greatest potential is like right in the central part of Tennessee, where everything's lining up perfectly. Well, for the most part, anyways. But again, the shear is very, very intense up here, but this is also associated with the jet stream. So here's the storm relative, energy available with this entire event. So it does look very interesting, central Tennessee and through the state of Tennessee, right through Thursday morning, very early. Things do get a little interesting. If you're seeing yellow and oranges, that's moderate amounts of energy in the atmosphere, but I think the next potential is really on Friday, because I'm seeing some interesting things happening on Friday with things sparking up like that. Here's the energy available. So again, like I mentioned, central Tennessee, where everything kind of lines up perfectly. Central Tennessee would probably be the bullseye for any severe weather, but numerous times I've been wrong. But again, that's what I see on the map anyways. But I have to take into account everything else. And then Friday looks like a marginal risk to potentially a side risk because the weather that extends from about the northeastern half of Arkansas through Tennessee and potentially even clipping the Carolinas. Here's the supercell composite. So again, everything's lining up right in central Tennessee. Again, you have to have the thunderstorms there, and the thunderstorms were there actually. So, again, I could be wrong, but this looks like pretty much the bullseye spot for any severe weather. I don't know why it is, but it is there. And then Friday things get even more interesting. You can see all this indication of any supercell thunderstorms that could develop within the state of Tennessee and the portions of northern Georgia, Carolinas, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, and throughout the state of Tennessee. Here's when things get interesting. I haven't taken a look at the tornado parameter, but I assume it's somewhere along those lines of what we've been seeing. So let me see. Yeah, so it's possible for a brief tornado, but it's not the highest amount I've ever seen. It's a very small chance through South Tennessee. And then obviously things could get interesting on Friday, so that's I wouldn't say it's worth a live stream, but this is definitely more dense in places. So yeah, I guess we'll keep an eye on this for now. Again, it doesn't look like a major severe weather threat. It looks like a very low threat. But if you get blue teals and you get teal colors in there and blues in there, you're looking at more of an elevated risk. I mean, if I were going to put a slight risk of severe weather, it would actually be like either on the line of Kentucky and Tennessee border, or extend this marginal risk a little bit farther to the south and add a slight risk right in the middle of Tennessee. But I think this Storm Prediction Center has done a pretty good job with this. I mean, if you're going to add a slight risk, it would be such a small area that I don't even think it'd be worth it, to be honest. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. So yeah, a little bit of a smaller video. But yeah, hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys did enjoy, like and subscribe. And yeah, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.